I have just come back from travelling nearly 2,000 kilometres from Sydney to the northwest of the state in my standard range Tesla Model Y. In this video, I will outline the trip to the northwest of the state of New South Wales, including charging and highlights of the trip. There was a complication with adjacent towns having their fast chargers out of service due to vandalism, so I'll show you how that was dealt with. Hi, I'm John. For this trip, we were targeting 2 towns at the top of the state to visit. Firstly, Barona. My son was working there, so I wanted to go visit. Second town was Lightning Ridge, which is the centre of the mining of black opal and other opal gemstones. Leaving Sydney, we stopped briefly for a coffee at Lawson in the Blue Mountains and charged at the EV fast charger there. Next stop was Orange, where we charged at the new Tesla superchargers in the centre of town. Dubbo was next stop, and again we used the Tesla supercharger network there. We stopped in Coonamble for the night. Next morning, we charged at the NRMA DC fast charger. We went for a walk around town for the 40 minutes or so that it took for the charge to reach 100%. On this day, we were planning to travel across to Barona via Walgett, visit our son for lunch, then head back to Walgett, then up to Lightning Ridge. With 450 kilometres of travel, we needed to charge somewhere on the way. Looking at PlugShare, we could see both Walgett and Barona DC fast chargers were out of service. Sometimes you do come across a town where the fast charger is out of service, but to have 2 adjacent towns with their fast charger network out of action is inconvenient. It wasn't until we got to Walgett and also Barona till we saw the extent of the vandalism of the DC fast chargers. All I can say is very disappointing. Fortunately, there was 3-phase power available at the Walgett showground that we could use. Not ideal, but definitely doable without inconveniencing us too much. Arriving at Walgett showground, we plugged into the 3-phase. Now, to travel to Barona and back is a 266 kilometre trip, so the Tesla estimated about 2 hours of charging was needed for the round trip. We headed off into town for lunch and also to look at the Anzac service. Anzac Day is a national day of remembrance in Australia and New Zealand that broadly commemorates all Australians and New Zealand who served and died in all wars, conflicts and peacekeeping operations. It was a moving display. Now, with enough charge, we made the trip to Barona. Staying a couple of hours, we then headed back to Walgett for a 30-minute top-up at the 3-phase at the showgrounds again, before heading to Lightning Ridge. At Lightning Ridge, we stayed at a motel opposite the bowling club, which had free Tesla 22 kilowatt destination charging. We plugged in here and charged to 100% while we had dinner. The next morning, we ventured into the opal fields and explored some of the mines. It was all dirt roads in this area, but it was not a problem in the Model Y. We then travelled from Lightning Ridge down to the town of Tamworth. Stopping at Narrabri, we charged at the NRMA DC fast charger while we had lunch before our final leg to Tamworth. The township of Tamworth is the spiritual home of Australian country music, with the annual Country Music Festival the largest in the Southern Hemisphere and is only eclipsed by Nashville. Leaving Tamworth, we headed to Sydney. We stopped for 20 minutes at a Tesla supercharger at Hollydean on the way. Okay, that was a short, quick trip to the top of the state, but the big takeaway is when venturing to remote parts of the country, do some planning beforehand. In particular, have a look at PlugShare at your potential stops to ensure they are serviceable. If there is a DC fast charger out of service in the town that you're passing through, you'll then have the opportunity to plan around it. Thank you for watching. Join me on the next video.